Greetings and welcome, everyone. It's All You Can Geek Moviecast, episode 561. I'm one of your hosts, Jim Gass, joined by Mike Sneedy.
What's up?
Corey Feinside.
Heyo.
And Tony Kokonakis.
Yo.
Welcome, guys. Welcome, listeners and viewers, to 561 of the Moviecast. Whew. All right.
Indeed.
We got a box office to talk about and what we've been up to. So...
coming out of a holiday weekend, so
yeah, I mean Shang-Chi, record-breaking weekend for Labor Day, so it broke the previous 2007 record for Rob Zombie's Halloween, I think it was, if I remember right. Yeah,
interesting.
Yeah, so a pandemic, but a record. So interesting and a half.
People were ready to go out, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean we braved it, right, Corey?
Yeah.
I mean, in a normal year, a movie that was this big probably wouldn't come out on Labor Day, but it's just
yeah, you're correct. I didn't know Labor Day. We probably talked about it before, but I keep forgetting that Labor Day is actually historically a really low weekend just because it's the end of summer and stuff like that.
Right.
So
people
going
on
into
vacation, trying to get stuff out before school starts.
So, yeah, a lot of schools already started on the East Coast and stuff, I know. Which actually, to me, speaks volumes to the success and the records that we saw because, I know going into the weekend, we're like, some people here, I won't name names, were like...
No, I mean, I'll say it. I thought it was going to be like 50 to 60 at the most.
Not you, even Deadline was like, 50. And it's like, well, it's kind of disappointing and stuff like that. Having those two things against it was like kind of remarkable.
I mean, the spike in the cases of COVID cases, was, something that I considered. And Labor Day, it's like... usually you don't have people going out, trying to take advantage of the last few days of nice weather and stuff like that.
Yeah, so it brought in over 71.4 million for 3-day, and then 83.5 million for a 4-day.
That's amazing.
Those are out.
Huh?
That's wrong, apparently.
Oh, those numbers are wrong?
I know it was 70
That was
something.
post-day.
I don't know who posted it, but Gitesh Pandya posted. He usually posts movie stuff. I think what is he?
What does Box Office Mojo say?
That's true. Let's look that one up. I'll get that.
He's a founder and editor of Box Office Guru. So
let's see what IMDb.
Shang-Chi brought in 75.4 million for the 3-day, and then it would be 90 something actually with 19 million.
94.
Yeah, just
shy of 95.
Awesome.
85 is wrong. So 4 days, 94 million. Really good day. Did really well. I mean, second biggest opening this year behind Black Widow.
Mm-hmm.
So really good. And I mean, just to mix some news into this while we discuss it, crazy enough, Carnage, Venom 2 got moved up.
Oh yeah,
dude, that movie just does not know where. It's like just stick to a date. It doesn't know what it's doing.
We gotta
Sony saw these results.
Yeah,
and they're like,
exactly. We gotta cash. We gotta cash in now.
Yeah.
Like, what if things get worse? We gotta do this now.
Because we told her like the more you delay it, the worse it will be. So if anything, you should. I think Corey, you said that, or somebody definitely said you should push it up.
Last year, the colder it got, the worse everything got. We were like good like in mid-late October, and then everything went bad last year. So I don't see it. That's why I thought delaying by 2 weeks was really dumb to avoid the pandemic. But now I guess they'll move it up. Who knows? It's global warming anyway. We'll be having 75 degrees in November anyway, so we'll see what happens.
No, I think I don't know. I think it's a good move by Sony, but I just don't know why they delayed it to begin with then. So they were obviously afraid of numbers, and then they saw this and were like, okay, we got to go now. We got to go. But yeah, I don't know. So yeah, great weekend for Shang-Chi. I loved the Simeon Liu, his dunking on people when he was posting his, because he was like a very famous, like he's one of those like posing models for the
stock image,
empty stock images. Yeah. So he posted like me and my friends laughing at the critics of Shang-Chi, and it's just like him posting one of his stock photos with them all laughing at the screen. It was pretty funny. So I just think it was hilarious for that. So he really bought into that. But yeah, so good box office weekend for that, at least. Everything else was kind of low. I mean, Candyman at 10 million. I think the people that were going to the theaters were going for only one reason, and our theater was jammed. It was pretty full. We had everybody right next to us. I had my mask on. I mean, I don't know what the etiquette is for theaters, so I just wore my mask, like except for taking a drink.
I just wore it the whole time
Yeah.
until
Taking a drink, pop it back on. The kid next to me was doing that very well. I'll give a kid the kid was like, he was like a high schooler doing it really well. I give him credit. We have some hope for our youth. The people next to Corey, however, were a bunch of idiots.
Yeah, they were loud and obnoxious.
And were eating I think they ordered the entire snack bar and then didn't have any masks on whatsoever.
They had to get their money's worth the whole time.
They were American. They were very American.
Oh, how dare those Americans in America be there?
They're just stereotypical American. They really are. It's it's what I just think things. I don't know. No consideration for others. No consideration for others.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, I just see the morning matinee show on Saturday, and there was only 15 people total, and everybody was spread out. So I felt pretty comfortable. I still wore my mask, but I was pretty comfortable with that because I was like,
"Yeah, I'm not." 12:45.
12:45. It was jammed.
Sold out. Yeah.
Wow. You guys, that's crazy.
Jammed. Yeah.
And because when I got the tickets, it wasn't like that at all.
No, it was empty. We got great seats, and then everybody filled in around us. So I guess you got to pick bad seats. I don't know. The whole theater was full though at 12:45 on a Monday. So we were part of that 19 million. Yep. Mike, you didn't go see it? Are you gonna go see this?
No, I had to work every day this weekend except for one day. Where
I assume you're gonna avoid the theaters, right? I mean, you're going.
I don't.
We gotta do a bonus round.
Stop interrupting him, man. Let him talk.
Sorry. Go on.
No, I mean it's not that I wouldn't go to the theaters. I wasn't worried about that. It's just I don't. This movie I'm interested to see it, but I'm not. This doesn't trump other plans for me, and it's not that type of movie. So I had one day, and I had tennis and Hopshaven to do instead, and the rest was my brother's on vacation, so I had to be at work, and there was also a flood at work, so fun stuff was happening the rest of the weekend.
Yeah, definitely takes up a lot of time. Being a business owner, gotta handle the responsibilities.
Definitely interested in it. These characters I don't know at all, beyond anything. I've heard of Rocket Raccoon before Guardians of the Galaxy. I've heard that title before. I didn't know much about it, but I haven't even heard of these characters before. I don't think.
Same here. It's okay.
You've heard of the 10 Rings, though, right?
You've heard of the Mandarin.
I've heard of the Mandarin only back when he was a character for. No, I think there was maybe one Ultimate Alliance appearance for him.
I mean, they mentioned the Mandarin in Iron Man 3.
Well, yeah, I know. That's what I was.
So I mean, you've heard of the Mandarin. It's named after an orange.
Yeah, but I don't know. So I'm not sure. It doesn't feel like a Marvel movie. I have to see it. Just is this might be an interesting.
It didn't even seem that way.
It wasn't
either.
Yeah, that's the vibe I got from it. Mike, I said that to Corey. I really enjoyed this movie, and we will do a bonus round on this. I think we'll just do it
next week.
Probably next week. Yeah, because I've had a long fucking day. Yeah. So I said to Corey right after we got out of the theater, I loved the movie. Absolutely loved the movie. Action sequences were fantastic. I felt the story was okay. What's her name? Awkwafina. I thought was I'm not a big fan of her.
I'm not a fan of her either. I'm
not a big fan of her.
I saw her on SNL. I'm like, who is this person and why? But whatever.
Yeah, her voice. It's her voice. I can't take her voice. And other than that, though, I love the movie. But then again, it was like a martial arts flick, and it didn't feel like a Marvel movie, except for the purposeful injections of Marvel Universe into it.
And that doesn't sound like a bad thing to me at this point.
There's nothing wrong with it. No, it could be on its own. It basically stands on its own entirely. You don't have to know anything about the MCU to watch this movie.
Which is also kind of why it does sort of give me a little less urgency. I don't feel like there's going to be spoilers for this thrown all over the place.
Oh, there's some major characters in this from previous movies that you should probably check out. But there was some cool stuff. Post-credit stuff was cool. I enjoyed quite a bit of it, and I loved trying to keep this vague. The comic relief in this movie, which is there's a comic relief from Awkwafina and stuff like that, but I get it. But no, there's one obvious comic relief in this movie, and it was awesome.
Well, has anybody seen All Hail the King or whatever that short was?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
You didn't see
Well,
that
if
yet?
you've seen that,
Yeah.
then you know who you're talking
That
about.
is a, by the way, Mike, that is a must-watch before you see Shang-Chi.
What is?
Hail to the
Hail
King.
to the King.
Yeah.
What is that?
It's a short from Marvel.
It's a Marvel short that came out with, was it like, came out around a while ago, like Agent Carter or something around that time?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
It has the Mandarin from Iron Man 3 in it.
All right.
Trevor.
The actor.
The
Ben
actor.
Kingsley.
Ben Kingsley, yes.
Okay.
So check that out. If you're going to see Shang-Chi, watch that first. That's all I would
Sounds like
say.
work.
No, it's short. It's super short. And it's
The
totally
Ten
worth it.
Rings show up in that. So
Yeah. It's totally worth it. So yeah, I really enjoyed it. Tony, what did you think of it? I'll go get Corey's opinion obviously as well too, but
Yeah. No, it was awesome. I mean, the thing I really appreciated and what made it feel less formulaic to me was how quickly they got into the plot line. Because if you look at like Phase 1 or even a couple of the solo movies from Phase 2, it's like they spend like a quarter of the movie just like, oh, this is their everyday life, like do like and then suddenly tragedy, and it's like, oh, this is what spurs them into being that character and stuff like that. Whereas like this, I felt it's like, bam, you get that introduction and it's like you're off like roller coaster, like you just get that huge like, oh, we're doing this now and stuff like that.
yeah.
Sort of like that. The martial arts choreography was amazing, like amazing.
Absolutely. And the wire choreography, they had some wire stuff in there too, which I loved.
And that's what I appreciate, because like you got both sides of it with like the the wire martial arts stuff, which is known in Asian cinema, but you also got what I feel is like more modern MMA style like choreography.
it was very much interesting because it was the mother was more the wushu stuff, and then the father was more the hard martial art.
Right. It's
Closed fist. You had that visually in there, like and then you like
the open
it was neat.
The open palm technique, yeah, that was great.
Yeah, so I love that duality of it, and how it actually played into the story a bit there and stuff. But yeah, I mean, it was just awesome seeing representation on the screen, especially for me. I can't remember the last time that people had like a positive Asian role model in a leading movie. I don't know. Shrug.
You don't count Keanu Reeves?
He's half.
Yeah, I mean, it counts, but it's not like Keanu's known for being Asian.
He's not. It's just funny. It's like people. I remember watching a Twitter post.
Majority of people, they would not know that.
Yeah, there was somebody somebody said that on Twitter, and everybody's like attacking him. I'm like, no wait, he actually is. If you look it up, he's half Asian. So, yeah, I this is, you're right. I'm trying to think of like a leading role like this where you're like, man, this is really good. And the fun part about this, Corey, and like, just we'll get your impressions too. Like, it just brought me back to us watching those martial arts flicks from China that we used to watch, like the Once Upon a Times and stuff like that. Those great martial arts. And it actually had a little bit of a Crouching Tiger vibe to it too. It had a little bit of that mixed into it. I just really loved that. That's where I got that drawn back to. But Corey, what did you?
Yeah, I just echoes a lot of things you guys said. It's very cool to see the representation. The martial arts fantastic, and I have to say, God rest his soul, Brad Allen is the guy that did the
fantastic.
That's right.
And he was part of Jackie Chan's stunt team.
Yeah,
and so unfortunately passed away. But and then the cinematographer is the guy that shot The Matrix. Yep. And so it's like you got a lot of similarities there.
Oh yeah.
And then I did, like I was saying, I loved the fact that the father had like this hard, like stiff style, where then the mother had this soft, more mythical, obviously, style, and having them, kind of combine into the one character and knowing how to use that and stuff, it was great. And I didn't mind Awkwafina. Like there is times Awkwafina can be super annoying.
Yeah,
like
I don't think she was as that bad. It's like you kind of have to compare her to her other roles.
Yeah, like Corey, I know you didn't really like Ocean's 7, was it?
Ocean's 8 or whatever it
was. Or
whatever,
yeah. Where Awkwafina was totally like on 11. I was like, oh, okay, like that's a little not. I thought she was okay. It's like whatever.
Yeah, no, I had no problem with her in this one. I think that she was much more mellowed back and But the one thing I do have a problem with her character is like, why is she even here? Other than that, it's like fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's a great film, and I'm definitely interested to see how it goes because I really enjoyed the way they interpreted the rings in this compared to how they are in the comics. Because in the comics, they're literally finger rings
Yeah.
that have like that come from outer space or something, and in here it seems much more on a mythical level. And who knows? Like, there's something that happens at the end that we'll have to find out how that like all ties in. But I just love that they're like these, like, you know, those Chinese arm weights that you have, and then they can kind of swing out and become like more utility.
Yeah.
It's a really really cool interpretation.
Like anything you want them to be, essentially, like nunchucks.
Yeah, I mean,
extended fists.
I mean, it's in the trailer and stuff. Like he just like shoots it down into like some guy's head or whatever, and then there's like him whipping him around.
I love those rings. That was like such a cool, like interesting, I don't know, weapon. Because like everything else, you're like, oh, that's a sword. That's, you know, a hammer. It's whatever. It's like, this is like, oh, it's interesting. You can do a bunch of different things with them. It's really creative and stuff like that. But yeah, I hope the takeaway from this movie for further Marvel productions is getting that style of like both the choreography and like the way it's shot, because there's no like shaky cam.
No, it's nice action. It's
nice, they definitely
action.
have that Jackie Chan feel, like with, especially on the building with the scaffolding. And
it did have that vibe. You're right.
I was like, this is very much like a Rush Hour type of moment here.
It had that stop fight where, you know, trap fighting. A lot of that mixed into it too, which is artsy and more Jackie Chan style too. So just the mixed with that scaffolding part. But I don't know, we're gonna get into that. We'll do a bonus round next week. Yeah. But we all really enjoyed it. I give it an 8.5. I'm right up there. I'm probably 8.5. I'm probably 8.5.
I'm probably there. Yeah.
So
I'd actually like to re-see it again, because I saw it at a crappy theater just because I was like, you know, let me get out of do that for the opening weekend and stuff like that. And this is the first time I've been to the Regal out here in like years and years and years. And I was like, damn.
Wow.
Like, I'm used to like, right? You're right.
This was the pinnacle of theaters at one point.
Yeah, and like I'm used to like the Philadelphia like IMAX and stuff like that, and I was like, damn, I got spoiled all these years. Like I'm like, ugh, like this kind of looks bad. Like, ugh. I thought of you, Jim, exactly when I noticed this. I was like, damn, I feel like Jim right now. I was like, I should complain right now.
Yeah. So no, it's cool. All right. Let's Mike, what have you been up to? We'll get back to, you haven't really said much recently. You didn't watch this, so what have you been watching?
The only thing I really watched was one more episode of Titans. This one was a Barbara Gordon heavy one. Their take on Barbara Gordon, which is interesting. It's definitely a little different, like most things in Titans. It's okay. It's funny though, because there's so much of these people talking shit about Batman. They're always just like, oh, he's crazy. He endangers children. Don't become him. Don't listen to him. Everything he did was wrong. And then if the slightest hint of him communicating with them makes them drop everything, be like, what? It's
Batman, man.
Yeah, I know, but still, they're all of them. It's like, Bruce fucked everything up, and then it's like, Batman, you here? What? You said something? So I don't know. It's funny to me, but it's fine. And then they're trying to. You know what I do like about this? They have Superboy in it as well, and obviously characters like Superman, Superboy, they're tough to work with. But interestingly, they use him as like a tech guy, kind of. They have him like reading things at super speed and putting stuff together really fast all the time, which is an interesting choice. But I kind of like it actually for him, because he's not just like, oh, I'm here to just run in super fast and block stuff all the time, like, you know, Superman normally is, or in these ensemble casts, he's being used differently, which is interesting. Although obviously he gets sidelined a lot because he has to be, but still.
Yeah, it's the Goku problem.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we talk about that a lot. Cool. Tony, anything else that you watched?
Nope.
No. Corey?
I actually watched Cruella on Disney Plus.
Oh, it's free, yeah.
So how
I have
how
to
bad?
say that movie is way too long, but if they cut like 25-30 minutes from that movie, I would say this movie is fantastic.
Really?
Yeah. I think that the first part of the movie, and there's like a little bit of a lull in the middle there, but the acting in this movie between the two Emmas, Emma Thompson and Emma Stone, is just so good that you just anytime they're on screen, and especially when they're on screen together, it's just like so captivating. And I thought it was such a great take.
Do they
on the
make
character.
you like try to feel sorry for her? Like, because I know the intro, the way that works in the beginning with the dogs, and I'm like, I'm sorry, but I'm not going to feel sorry for Cruella de Vil. I'm not going to.
They don't try to make you feel sorry for her.
But I mean, they
don't
did it with
feel like it's
Maleficent.
forcing on
They did.
you.
That's like Maleficent was filmed that way, trying to
I
make you
think
see it.
one of the bigger problems people had with this is that this character is not the Cruella from the animated movies, and it's not like a prequel to the Glenn Close like 101 Dalmatians. This is a completely different. You have to look at it as a completely different character. I just think it worked really well if you look at it that way, because she's not obsessed with fur coats and trying to get Dalmatian leopard or the Dalmatian printed coat or whatever, fur coat, and so for me, I didn't need I don't care about that. Like I wasn't like I didn't that's not what I needed. This just was like such a good take on a character that was obsessed with something that she felt responsible for, and then coming to terms with the fact that she wasn't responsible for it, and then trying to find a way to take revenge, essentially. And basically it's just like a fashion, like using fashion as a platform to do it. And all the costume designs were really cool, like the scene, the setups and the scenes or whatever. I'm trying, what's the word I'm looking for? The locations were great, and the side characters were good too, like her henchmen or whatever. They were fine, and I felt bad for them because the way she treated her peoples. But like I didn't feel sorry for her at all. But in the end, I was rooting for her because Emma Thompson's character is even a bigger psycho than Cruella's character. So it's pretty interesting. And so I really enjoyed it. I think that because she plays like two characters essentially. Emma Stone. She plays Estella, who's who she is, and then Cruella is kind of like a facade that she puts on to try to deal with her like issues, her psychological issues, and then basically Cruella takes over, and it's interesting to see how those two things play off each other.
Interesting. Okay. Cool.
But I loved about 75% of the movie. They do need to cut it down though. It's like that movie is way too long.
Okay. Yeah, I watched the Kenshin the beginning, and I haven't finished the finale yet, but the final, as they call it. I have 45 minutes left in that movie. I mean, obviously I know the story and how it goes, but I keep what's funny is the beginning one is like obviously just the OVA, which we loved. It was awesome how he gets his scars. You know how I get these scars? No. But yeah, so I loved that movie. But the sequel, the final, all it wants me I want to do watching this is watch the anime. Like I don't know how anybody that watching this could know what is going on if you haven't seen the anime. And I don't know.
What's weird is like they put the finale on first. Netflix got that first, and then they got the beginning, and they didn't get any of the ones in between.
There's nothing in between. It's just like, here you go. Here's a 14-year time jump with new characters, and here's the finale.
No, I know. That's what I mean. Well, there's like 3 movies that were missing.
Oh, okay. They did shoot them.
Those movies exist.
Why am I watching the finale right now? Then I'll just wait. I'm not gonna finish it.
I'm saying they exist. I don't know why they did that. I was like, well, why not put them all out? Like I don't know the purpose of this.
I'm done. I'm not finishing this movie. I'll say that now. That I will wait because I know what's going on. I've watched the anime like a billion times. I know the stories. This one obviously is this is the last arc, right, for him, or was this?
This
before
is it.
Shishio?
That's the finale.
No, I mean in the anime, was this the last arc or was it before Shishio?
No, this was
the movie. This was the movie, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I was trying to remember when this occurred because it's been so long since we watched that. But I love the mentions of Shishio, by the way. It was pretty cool to hear that. But
yeah, because there are movies out there with him in it. So.
Yeah. Ooh. Love the fight sequences in this. Is great. But all right, that's pretty much it. Mike, anything else for you, or you good?
Just watching the Yankees implode, and apparently Garrett Cole is injured right now from out of the game. So this is the end of the season right now.
Welcome to New York baseball. You know, I
There's
just watched the Mets blow
game win streak completely erased almost immediately.
Yeah, we watched the Mets blow a 9-game lead, 9-inning lead. 9-run lead. Jesus, I'll say it right eventually. 9-run lead. They blew it. They won the game, but they blew it. So, all right, let's see what else we got here. Hulu news. Hulu's increasing its prices only by $1 each tier. So it's going from $5.99 on the base tier to $6.99, and then the ad free is going to $12.99 from $11.99. So I don't know how it's going to affect their $1 a month pricing I always get when they do it every Christmas. That's why I have it right now. They do the $1 for a year with a new account, and they just make a new account every year. So we'll see how that affects it.
I might what I was using to stream live TV just got like some court order saying, because what it was like they'd give you all the local channels depending on where your location was. And it was like free, but it would interrupt you every 30 minutes saying, "Oh, try like donate to us because we we're a free service or whatever."
Yeah, I got that email too about this.
Yeah, and so now they just took it down because they weren't allowed to interrupt your watching because it's not a donation if they're interrupting it. So
is it still there though, just without?
No, you can't watch it anymore. It's gone.
Wait, what? What is this?
Just the service I use to watch like broadcast television. Because I don't have cable or anything, so there's a service that had free streaming, so you could watch it, through the internet. But and they had like a donation thing, so you watch for 30 minutes, and then it would say, "Oh, donate to us," and then it would stop what you're watching, and you'd have to restart it. And so then they got taken to court, and the court said, "Yeah, that's not how donations work. You don't like stop people from doing the thing you're offering to ask for donations." So they're like, "All right,
that's a charge."
Yeah. So then they took it down.
Which is kind of
even if you paid for it, because even if because I was donating $5, I was like whatever, and so even if you paid for it, they took it down. So
that sucks.
Do it now.
I thought.
So now I'm looking into like live TV services. And I'm like,
well, I do like YouTube. No matter what internet streaming you do, there's going to be a little lag for live sports. You're usually about 30 seconds behind. You can't get around that, unfortunately, unless you go cable. But there's so much extra cost. I just priced it out. I just did all this with Optimum. The equipment costs are stupid, and I'm not paying that shit. So I'm going to just pay for YouTube for $70 a month. I have YouTube unlimited
Sling
DVRs.
TV is like $35.
Yeah, I get more channels with YouTube. More channels.
I don't even need those. That's the problem. I just want broadcast, and so I have my antenna. But my antenna, like if it's like a bad storm, it cuts out.
I like SNY though. I like we watch Animal Planet. We watch a bunch of channels, and you can't get that with Sling. With Sling, it's either or. You can't get everything you want. It's just like they have one package and another package, and that's it.
Mm-hmm. No, I'm saying Sling had. I was like, it's got all the broadcast channels I need, and then it's got NFL Network, so I guess that'll work. But so that's what I'm probably gonna use. I don't like it though.
I know. I like the DVR service from YouTube Unlimited and watch it from anywhere kind of thing, which Sling you can do, I'm sure. Yeah. But I love that freedom because again, Optimum is going to charge us $8 a month to watch their stuff from anywhere. So it's just all the extra fees in cable are just goddamn bullshit. So you'd be paying them the premium to watch it like completely live, and I'm like, I can handle not turning off notifications while I'm watching an important baseball game or something like that. You know what I mean? Like while I watch the games. So I don't know. I do like the YouTube service more than I like Hulu because of the interface, but that's just personal. All right, we got the last bit of news we have is for Thursday of this week. We have the Matrix 4 trailer dropping for us on Thursday, and they announced a teaser.
Keanu returns.
We teased it a little bit earlier with talking about like Keanu Reeves, but he comes back at the end.
Guy did the filming for Shang-Chi. So
we're gonna get the Matrix 4, which is still shocking. It's still surprising, but apparently
Resurrections.
It's a real thing. It's a real thing. Yeah.
Reloaded. What was the Reloaded?
Revelations.
No, was it
No, maybe I'm wrong. Reloaded and it wasn't Revelations?
I don't know. It's not worth even remembering. And then Resurrection. So that makes sense with the whole vibe we're getting.
The thing is, anything that's not the first.
Revolutions.
Yeah, Revolutions. God, I remember being so hyped for those last two movies and just being like, oh, that's a shame.
Yep. I just remember the credits were 13 minutes long. And I had to pee so bad. And
is this gonna
we're
be
waiting for that stupid trailer for this. Yeah. But I was like, I'm doing this.
And
is
the
this
only
gonna be like what? Go on.
I've said it many times before, but like the only way you can like the second movie is after seeing the third and be like, oh, at least the second one took place in the Matrix. That was nice.
Yeah. This is going to be a trilogy or just a one-off? Do we have any idea what this is going to be?
Who knows? Depends.
know.
It also
Because like guys, wait,
that it does.
Maybe they can stick the landing like Ava.
No.
Maybe they can finally put something in here where it's like, here's the landing.
Are they going to bring Carrie-Anne Moss back too? You know,
Yes.
I mean,
It's
motive
back.
yeah.
for half of the
Back.
shit you did, you'll just kill off at the end like last time.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't know. We'll see what it is. But resurrections. So I'm sure everybody's back.
Multiple resurrections.
It has plural in it. Yes.
I mean, you're getting Carrie-Anne Moss and Keanu Reeves. That's 2 people already coming back.
Her death
don't know.
was so anti.
I mean, if we don't get Switch, I mean, then come on, what's the point? Not like this.
I couldn't really
not
care
like
about this. I'm just gonna I'm just gonna hope that it'll come out better than expected, and I might see it one day and be like, oh yeah, it was okay.
I mean,
Fool me
hope it
once,
is.
fool me twice. Nah.
I'm just saying, Tony, I would have never expected you to be applauding an Ava movie until like 2 weeks ago when you did it.
Why?
Because like
I
they
like
were
Ava
such
Gardner.
shit before that. They never stuck the landing. They've tried over and over again to finish that series, and he never finished it right. And he finally finished it, and you're like, you clapped and everything. You were very happy.
But there's a difference. So there's a difference. They tried the TV series, which was muddled with studio budget, and that's why the last 2 episodes had to get weird or whatever like that. And people bitch so much that he's like, all right, we'll fucking make a movie. And like, he's never admitted this, but it feels like he did this just to be like a fuck you to all the toxic fans out there, which to me is hilarious because, yeah, they're like, we want the real ending to even go. And he's like, all right, I'll give you a fucking real ending. And it's just like, yeah, this is just, like, you thought that was bad. This is even worse for all the fans.
Things
like
can be worse. Yes. Okay.
But the Thrice Upon a Time like was built over a decade of like, hey, here's a reboot of the first half of the series, and the second one's like, oh hey, here's like an alternate, like kind of like a what if thing where it's like, what if things were slightly different, and the third one's like, hey, we're going in a totally new direction now finally, and it's like, oh, this is exciting, this is new, even though it was kind of weird again, and the fourth one is just like, all right, completely 100% new, absolutely nailed the ending. This is essentially Phantom Menace for fucking Matrix.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Maybe. I mean, who
Like
knows?
absolutely nothing. Absolutely
We don't know.
nothing.
We don't know what it is.
Nothing
I
from
don't
the
know
Matrix
about
universe. Absolutely nothing from the Matrix universe. And what, 15 years? 16 years? I don't know how long has it been.
Yeah. I'll get you there. Okay.
Zero. It's not like this is like a passion project or anything like that. It's like, we want to make money.
And it's different though because it's not like the Phantom Menace starred Luke Skywalker. Now you got your Luke Skywalker here with Keanu.
I would argue Star Wars was always about Darth Vader.
Oh,
It was about a Skywalker.
no, that's
Skywalker.
That's actually what the prequels sort of moved it to be about him. Before that, it was about Luke Skywalker. Prequels taught us it was about Vader.
Well, I mean, it's happening. We'll see what it looks like and go from there.
Yeah.
And we got another trailer too.
Listen, it's not like they can fuck up what they did.
Sure they can.
No.
That's what I said after the second one. That's exactly what I said after the second one. There's no way they can mess this up even more. And they did.
If they erase
true.
or decanonize or basically contradict that ending, I could not care less. Fuck that ending.
We'll see. I mean, we're gonna get a trailer for it, so I don't know who. God knows when it's launching because of the COVID stuff. But all right.
I just want to say we did get a Wheel of Time trailer, which looks good. So
yes, I forgot to mention that. I watched that too, and yeah, I'm psyched for that. It did what it meant. It did its job. Like I said on the Discord, I mean, it did its job. So, Tony, that one is a series that I would ask you that you should watch, but then after our Game of Thrones issues, I'm concerned at saying this now. Yeah, this isn't by the same people. Yeah.
Well, no, there's a difference because this is all the materials out.
It's completed. Yeah, it's true.
Game of Thrones. Who knows if they'll ever see those books? Who knows?
Yeah.
I'm not.
No, I just and then you don't have the 2 showrunners that wanted to go and do Star Wars, so they fucking just left us left high and dry.
Well, they didn't know how to do anything of their own. That's the problem. They had the material, so they were doing fine when they had the material. Once they had to do it on their own, they didn't know how to do it anymore.
Yeah, that's true. They really didn't have a good outline, clearly, which makes me more concerned. I'm sorry. Now we're going to tangent. Game of Thrones more concerned also because of the outline that they received is what we saw clearly wasn't a good outline.
There's no way that George R.R. Martin didn't see the reception to this ending and isn't backtracking every single that's honestly why I think Words of Winter is so delayed.
Winds of Winter, yeah.
Or
Winds. You said words.
Winds,
you said words? Yeah.
Winds of Winter.
Yeah.
Is so fucking delayed because I guarantee he's like, fuck, I gotta rewrite all this shit now because like I know I talked about this before, but I have never seen something that was like on the pinnacle of pop culture, like water cooler discussion. Like I don't know what.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh yeah, water cooler. Yeah,
water cooler discussion where like even people that were like I would never be like, yeah, we're watching like Game of Thrones. I'd be like, what? You're watching?
Dude, like they brought fantasy to mainstream.
Right,
like,
right, exactly.
More so than Lord of the Rings, even.
I would argue Battlestar Galactica did as well, but okay.
That's sci-fi though.
But it did.
It was.
This was still bigger than Battlestar Galactica.
It was in tandem too with Walking Dead. I think this got like the soccer moms into this nerdy, weird.
Yeah, sure. Like
both those things.
I think they kind of built up off of each other because they were like adultish and more gritty or whatever. But like I've never seen something that like was like at the zenith of like just wow, you could not ask for something to be more popular ever.
Nope. No, everybody's talking about it, and like everybody's like
just like that.
It brought people into the books. Like people read the books because of this, and like the fact and like there's so much like spoiler stuff that people needed to be worry about. It was crazy at the time, but yeah, and it just fell so hard. No. The faster you or the higher you rise, the further you fall.
Yeah. So all right, that's pretty much it for this episode. Thanks for tuning in. You can write us, huh?
Bummer.
Shang-Chi's great. Come on.
Yeah. All right.
Well, we start strong, we end on a bummer, but whatever. So
you changed your name from Shang to Shawn.
Shawn to
no
Shang.
wonder they couldn't find you.
It's like changed from Michael to Mike. Anyways, yeah, so thanks for tuning in. You can write us allyoucangeek@gmail.com. You can follow us on Twitter, like us on Facebook. If you're watching us on YouTube, hit that subscribe, hit that like button. We're out. See you next week.